Okay, I think that worked. Sweet. Okay, welcome. We are gonna do some Gleam open source work today. Let me just check that my mic is working. Test, test, test. Oh, I need to use another mic. That's probably going to be better. Okay. So we have a couple of objects. What we want to work on. I've accumulated quite a few Gleam projects. There is a parrot, I think arguably the most popular one. But we have acquire, hexdocs offline, and wayfinder. So these are the candidates for today. Each one except acquire has some issues that I created as a sort of to-do management system. They're not issues in the sense of bugs, but just things I want to work on, change, update. And Parrot has quite a few. There are a lot of ideas, and I think two that are fairly low-hanging fruit, which would be worth doing today. To be honest, Wayfinder, I thought of some ways to improve on this because building side projects with this hasn't really yielded the DX I wanted to. So I think we're gonna do some parrot, the hash verification that Haley has reminded me to implement, and then some Wayfinder coding, which is a type safe-ish disclaimer routing library, but we're going to make it fully type safe with some code generation because the current version actually does not use any code gen. So there is an extra function you have to run, which if you don't could yield to runtime errors, but this does, or changing it to a config file, either JSON, TOML, no YAML, no YAML, would obviously fix that while introducing a build step. But there's always, you always win or lose some. Okay, let's get started. So, parrot. I don't want to do the whole V2 thing. I think that's going to be for another stream. Because there are a lot of, and strictly speaking, this isn't quite a good issue just because it's packed with things that you don't necessarily need to bundle everything into a V2. Like if we improve the code generation using glams and not just like string concatenation, then that wouldn't have to be a V2 because nothing on the user API end would actually change. this would change the API quite significantly. Um, this would not, hypothetically. This wouldn't, this would just introduce a new command. So yeah, not my best work, but I think I just brain dumped everything into here when I converted like my markdown files and docs over here. So it's fine. But yeah, let's get started. Yeah, I have Parrot open right here. I have my terminal on the side that you can barely see. So I'm just probably just, I don't know how to layer these on the stream nicely, but I think this is going to do just fine. Okay. So, which one should we tackle first? So this one is quite, has been, I mean, hasn't really been an issue, but the default Gleam test, um, like GitHub workflow, checks if all files are formatted and actually throws an error if they're not. So this could yield some CI/CD errors if you don't open the generated file at all and you don't have like format on save enabled. So I think this would be a good thing to tackle, and I mean it's hopefully just going to be like a couple lines of code just calling gleam format. And then we have the hash verification, and then we have this one, which was actually, I think, the very first issue. I'm debating whether I should post my link in the Gleam Discord. I think I'm just going to do that, just in case people want to watch. Okay. Cool. And then run Gleam format. So I think this is pretty self-explanatory. Now you could argue that you could also just generate the code, like well-formatted code with the code gen, and I hear you. But I think this one is just easier and kind of it's gonna yield the same purpose, with less code and less debugging and everything. So we're just gonna run with this. Okay. So I think this has a like odd like creative branch. Yeah. So I'm just gonna do that and then check out locally. I don't have any other branches at the moment. So I can just check out this one. And now we get to work. So the Parrot code base is fairly not substantial, but it could seem that way because there are quite a few modules that don't necessarily all have a lot of code in them. But I like the current structure. I am quite happy with the CI/CD, which I use just files for just about everything. All of my projects nowadays. So you can just run just integration, and then it runs 3 integration Gleam projects, which in turn do some code gen, and then they in turn, well, yeah, that's what they do. They do the code gen, and then they test the generated SQL libraries with some asserts, and that's about it. So we have a just file here for the SQLite. So we do a reset. So we remove the generator, we remove the file.db, we add a schema, a seed with some data, we generate the SQL library, we do this. Oh, yeah, we dump the output, and then I search for an error variable to know if anything failed during the main testing of the SQLite, of the SQL functions. That was quite a mouthful. But anyways, we don't want to really mess with these integration tests. We really just want to go into the main main loop, the main CLI logic, parrot CLI.generate, and then at sorry, CLI. My mouse scrolling is very broken. Command gen, and then here at the very bottom, when we finish, we can, yeah, we can basically just start a new spinner, which says formatting clean code. Formatting generated code, just let the user know that we're not formatting messing with any of their code. I think, yeah, because you can specify which file exactly you want to, format. You don't have to format the whole project at once. Okay, I'm just going to move the terminal into the stream just so y'all can see everything. Let me just check that looks good. Yeah, looks pretty good. Okay. So this is gonna be, so we need the output path of the file, which is gonna be, yeah, project, well, source. Or is it? Because yeah, I think I might be joining. Well, this doesn't really tell me anything. But yeah, so it's going to be source name SQL.gleam. So and then really we just have to call gleam format on it. Result. Well, see, this is where you can go down different Gleam coding conventions. You can store it as a variable. We can attempt to pipe something. We can put it directly into the case statement. So many options. I think we're just gonna go with a variable. So the out format. It's quite lengthy, but that format. Well, and then the output path. And we're just going to run it in the project root, which, now that I think about it, is actually not guaranteed. Like it's fine. Actually, we have the project root. Mm, project.source. That's a good one. I can just use that one. Because I stole some code from Scroll, from Jack, that recursively goes back in the current directory and attempts to find the gleam.toml, which signals the root of the project. So I'm just gonna use the project source. Um, I don't have to store this since it's such a cheap um, command operation. So so we can do file path join. Da, 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 da. That should work. Upper path, standard out format, and then I don't. Yeah, we don't need that. Standard out format, my trusty given, which I love. Oh, oh, they stole it. Jack from stole it from me. That's funny. Wait, I can't actually see the chat properly. Why? Huh. Sorry, I can't. Dang it. That's annoying. Let me see if I can make. Okay, that's okay. I can see the chat. It's just cut off a bit. Um, yeah, but yeah, trusty. It actually kind of reminds me of working. You know, this whole shared CN UI. Like you don't install a package, but you copy paste components into your library. I feel the same. Like I've accumulated such a vast, I mean, I say vast, but it's probably not as much as other people have, um, amount of just like utility Gleam functions, like working with files. Here, I just, yeah, the spinner thing from Louis, I just, right, I copy pasted, installed 3 dependencies, and like just removed what I don't need. Um, vendoring, right? It's called vendoring. Um, it's been a really cool experience, and it's just a nice knowing you have control of all of your code, and yeah, it's been this. Okay. Yeah, this is pretty not a very exciting feature, but we should be done right now. Um, this is so stupid. Because yeah, that doesn't work. Okay, we'll just do it. We'll just do it the way it works, and then we'll care about performance and code neatness later. Okay, that's fine. Uh, da, 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 da. Hey Jack, good to see you. Yeah, just talking about how we all steal your code. Oh no, sorry, you stole Haley's code. Get it twisted. Um, okay, just another formats, and then we could have a new error for this, right? Errors to Gleam format error. Even though, I mean, I can't imagine anything going wrong here, to be honest. But you know, you never know. Uh, what am I doing wrong? Freaking. Oh, yeah, this is not compiling. Name format error. Formatting generated code. Hello, Jay. Quite the crowd. And I'll do this. Actually, I have some food next to me, but I don't want to like um, have you guys hear me eat. I don't have my microphone with me that I can like mute that is like in front of me. Left it in the office, but yeah, well, I'll survive. And then yep, we just return the error. I think that's it, to be honest. That is it. So I don't think I have the um, I need to turn this on. Oh, actually, I mean, I can just use the test SQLite. And yep, formatting generated code. We should actually see a git diff in the generated SQL because I don't think I've formatted it before. I don't think so. And yeah, it got formatted. Wow. All right. Well, that was pretty easy. That's often the reaction when I do something in Gleam. It's like, oh, I guess that works. Boring is good. Shouldn't say boring. Simple is good. Okay, sweet. Now, the age-old question, name of the commit. um, theme formats. Hi, it's fine. I think it's fine. And there we go. Yeah, just trying to think of ways this could mess up, fail, impact anyone, but nothing I can think of that should stop me from just pushing this. Thank you. Yeah, well, the formatting is pretty nice. I think I've voiced the only thing I've come across where it's like annoying, like in just one case, when you're creating empty, like a list of map, and then you just want to have like a function with an empty body, like the to do, and it inlines the whole thing. But I like that's fine. I can see how this is quite an edge case. Um, I suppose we just copy this and then we push. Yeah, this is another thing I wanted to implement, like automated CI/CD, right? Because right now it's just local. It works. I run it every time and such. But obviously that'd be better. Okay. An origin, git pull, clean, publish. Oh, nope. I need up the version, add a changelog. Love the changelog as well. I don't think I've seen this in any other ecosystem. And tests are overrated, indeed. Trying to think of a push where I've like messed up anyone and I had to push replace. I don't think I've done that. I mean, at work, oh yeah, for sure, but not with my Glee packages. It's been pretty good. At least I think so. Okay. Right here. Mention this, do that. Closes this. Parrot The generated file is now formatted with the formatter. Not sure there's a good word for it. I don't. What are the crowns actually? I've streamed a couple of times last year. You can still find like Elixir streams on my channel in the live tab, I think. Um, but I'm over Elixir. I've converted to the good side. So I don't know what the crowns are. Um, okay, we've got a V122. I've also wanted to check out. I saw that Pog and Scroll actually pushed an update fixing some formatting bugs. Um, so but I don't know if it concerns my package because I don't like Pog is optional, like in theory. Um, so yeah, don't screenshot this. Well, I don't know if you can see the chat if I upload this as a VOD, so you might be screwed for eternity. Okay, that was pretty productive for the first 30 minutes. What next? Um, what next? And I know this is called Coffee and Code. Um, I'm gonna get a decaf in just a second, just so I, you know, maintain the brand, the non-existent yet brand. But cool. Oh, actually, I see. This is why you should have tests. I actually haven't run the formatting for the other integration tests, which, I mean, no one really cares, but I'll just do that. um, Postgres, just integration, and yep, should run just fine. Formats, thing. Oh, um, fighting over the crown. Um, what was I gonna do? Oh, publish. Now that I've bumped the version. Okay, and this. Rather funny. I don't actually know what this does. I just do it every time. Cool. Verify hash of SQLC binary. Yeah, that was a good call, Haley. Oops. Um, um, I would never trust myself to public live on stream. Yeah. Germans would just build different. Um, no, wrong branch. Yeah. See, my packages they're like the projects are like small enough that I'm pretty much never not on main or like one other branch. So it's yeah, it's been okay. Um, actually, wouldn't that be a could could you like um prevent like have a hook that prevents you from running clean publish in a non-main branch? I don't know enough about the Git CLI, but that might be something to look into. And with look into, I mean GPT. Yeah, I've when I was working on the Elixir stuff, I was working on a AI generated calendar. So you would be like, okay, I want a calendar with for a friend who's really into cars, and it would generate 12 images for each month, like adjusted in the prompt, like Christmassy, Valentine's Day. And obviously, I had to use a lot of third-party APIs, and I leaked like one API key every 5 minutes and had to invalidate them, go back and forth. Yeah, I don't, I don't recommend it. Um, I have no idea how hooks work. They scare me. We have some hooks at work, and I hate them all. Okay, no, it's not a Git operation, but oh yeah, you're right. Oh no way. Well, I meant as in like yeah, but you would get the branch from Git. But yes, it wouldn't be a Git operation. It would be a Gleam operation. Prove me wrong. Um, Valentine's Day, Kaka, let's go. The results were surprisingly cool. So for every friend now that hasn't gotten a calendar, I that's like my first present for them for a birthday or like a New Year's. So we have like three calendars laying around in our house, um, and some like old ones, as in like one of the first versions of Midjourney where people had like 8 fingers. I mean, not that they don't have really weird miss whatever hands in AI images, but it's gotten like substantially better. But yeah, that's that one. Yeah, those are quite disturbing at times. Now I know why Louis doesn't get anything done on stream, because reading the chat and talking is just, you can just get really lost in it. His words, his words. He said he has trouble getting things done on stream. Don't don't tell them I said that. Um, right. Now, let's talk about hashes. So yeah, I'm just gonna straight up steal your code, Haley. I'm just not even gonna pretend I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I've been open about stealing your code, if that counts for anything. He just has trouble getting things done. Period. Uh, I mean, so I've met Louis in person once in London in the Gleam meetup on Christmas in 2020, like half a year ago. Yes, last year. But I think it'd be funny to see everyone from the core team in person and you know how you guys interact. I think it'd be a blast. Um, okay. Anyways, um, all right. Where do you? So I think in your Luster ES lens, right? That's where you validate the thing. So let me just, you know, do that. Um, okay. And then we were just gonna get the hash from GitHub. Yes. Um, yeah, I signed up to the Gleam gathering and for February, like the instant I forgot his name, Crowdhaler, posted it, and I have family in England, so I think it'd be it's quite possible I can join y'all. Um, but and yeah, Codebeam Europe. I don't think I'm gonna make it. But yeah, I actually thought about doing something or submitting a talk, but I couldn't really think of anything yet. So TBD, TBD. Um, okay, I need the hash. Um, yeah, both of them. Look at me go. Yeah, you validate all the hashes. That is quite impressive. Where are the hashes though? Or do I? So I thought it gives me the hash, but I guess I just have to hash it myself. Unfortunate. Um, wait, I swear it gave me the hashes, but maybe not. Maybe not. I have things to talk about. Okay. It, oh, no, that's not the hash. Fine. I could have submitted a talk. Fine. And I didn't. Shame on me. Shame on me. Okay. Um, is, oh, yeah, you have to, yeah, yeah, I'll just compute them myself. And I guess I'll just GPT the script for it. Um, yeah, let me just do that off screen. Um, uh, fast grab to compute. What is it? Like a SHA-536. All files in a directory. And then I'll just download all of them and yeah. Um, all right. Thank you, Haley. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. And yeah, I guess there's no way around just downloading all of them. Zip or tar, I guess it doesn't matter. Let me just remove the work stuff. I'll just put it in the folder work. And then it's invisible. Okay. And then I'll just do SQC. Okay, well, that's done. Okay, only 8 to go or something. This, this, and Windows. Um, right. Oh shit. Okay, this is not gonna work. I need to, because they're all called SQLC, so I need to track which, oh my God. So I need to put them into a directory and then rename them because they're all gonna just be SQLC with no name. And, oops, Mac Finder, still a pain. Okay. Yep, this is part of the process. Okay. Probably could have automated this with one bash scripts. Crap. And now I need to adjust my bash script. Actually go into each directory inside the current directory and compute the hash of the SQL binary inside. Okay, and there's our trusty bash script, thanks to GPT-4.1. The naming on OpenAI's, I mean, they had so much opportunity to learn from bad naming, and they just said, fuck it. We'll just confuse everyone. Just say. Not saying it's easy. Not saying I could have done it, but oh well. Okay, compute. Don't worry, I won't execute it just yet, prematurely. I should probably have a look at it first. And so it goes into each thing, does that. See, but it's not SQLC. It's the Windows one. Well, okay, I'll just rename the Windows one because it looks for a just plainly named SQLC. Okay, and SHA some. Well, what? But it is. Ha. You seeing this, right? Okay, okay, okay. I'm just, yeah. I'm just not even gonna say anything. And there we have it. The hashes. And now back to stating Hades code. Thank you very much. Yeah. So get download path and hash. Just gonna do the same. Oh, very starring. I'll probably mute myself. So it's just string, just a tuple. And we have these. Then we have Darwin, arm. Let's just order these. AMD. Right here. Windows. Yeah, that's, I don't know who put them there. Thank you, Chuck. Let me know what you're watching. Have fun. Okay, we've got Linux AMD, Linux ARM. It's pretty cool. And yeah, now we just return the hash. Superman. Heck yeah. Yeah, have fun. I've heard it's good. I haven't seen it myself, but I am this week, so you're beating me to it. Um, yeah, I saw F1 though twice with two different friends, and yeah, great movie. If anyone is wondering what they should watch, F1 is a great one. Okay, why? Okay, there we go. Heroes are slowly dipping. All right, sweet. So, right, why did I do that? Oh, oh yeah, because it's platform and hash now, and I need to return as platform and hash. Um, uh, my bad. Okay, sweet. And hash, download and hash. And now, so this is going to be interesting because I've introduced a system SQL-C binary, like the locally installed system binary fallback. So since we download the SQL-C binary into like the builder parrot, um, we have the binary installed in any case. But because I've had some issues, like literally just like coin flip issues, like it works, it doesn't, nothing, seemingly having changed. Mm, of that local version not running on my system, like the Mac OS. But then like only the generate function or command doesn't work. Literally everything else works. And I mean unfathomable confusion, as you can imagine. Like I run like SQLC version, it gives me like 1.29. I run like SQLC help and diff, and it all works. And then I run generate, and like nothing works. Yeah. Um, but my homebrew installed SQLC version or binary works. So like, okay, I just said, okay, I give up. I don't know how to make the local version run at this moment. And I don't want to test everything on Linux, on like a Linux VPS. So I just added a fallback to the local binary, which also means that if we were to test this this one, we would also need to test this one, right? Because both could be installed. the logic for this was actually less tricky than I anticipated. That makes sense. Um, I think, yeah. So it's literally just like okay, we try this, and if it doesn't work, we just do that, right? We just use the local version, and if not, we just use the whatever is in the path of the current system, which is even more dangerous when you're not checking the hash, um, obviously. And yeah, you don't want to, you want to anticipate things. You don't want to have someone have their data wiped because someone added malware into their SQLC binary. Not that that's a realistic attack vector, but you never know. All right. So, let's local SQL test check hash, and then check this hash. So back to stealing code. Oh, actually, how forthcoming of me. Um, get download your hash. This is called here, and then trying to think if I implemented the hash check logic anywhere before. I don't think so. So I'll just have to do it again. Well, not again. I'll just have to do it. Okay, check is integrity. Let's just. Oh, it's literally, yeah. Okay. Don't mind if I do. And then we do this, and then we do that. Oh, I have not installed crypto, it seems. Okay. Restart. Oh yeah, and that's gonna be a new error. Excuse me. SQC binary integrity. What shall it say? Inverted views. Oh, that's easy enough. Thank you. Pattern. Code action, I mean, not pattern matching. Yeah, you just get the hash and then could not verify SQC binary hash. Check grid-C. And then you just get the hash it computed. And then you should probably, be on the watch for hacker. Check SQC binary SQC integrity. Binary array expected believe in hash string. And then, yeah, we just called it. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. We'll have to try. Oh, and then, well, actually, this is prematurely. because we haven't downloaded it yet. And we're only doing that here. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Get download path and hash. And I don't actually need the hash. So I know, so this isn't perfect naming convention, naming this verify, but then doing more verification down here outside of the verify function. It's fine. I think it's fine. That's it. Okay. So let's actually just provide an incorrect hash. I mean, not incorrect in that sense, but let's just tweak this one to make it fail. Like just make it a 5 and then it should fail, right? Uh, Dang it. So I always have issues with incorrect caching. What is this? I'm not getting any errors. Oh yeah, that's what I mean. So if you install like a local path, a dependency with a local path, and then you change the dependencies of that module, you actually have to remove the manifest to make it refresh. There is a PR open, and Louis has reviewed it, but hasn't matched it or given me feedback on the latest changes. So this is still out to be fixed. But I mean, it's a relatively straightforward fix. You just remove the manifests and then you just run it again. Okay, so that has not worked. um, okay, that should not have worked. Hmm. Let's just see if I missed if I'm on the incorrect, um, if I changed the wrong hash. Why am I not getting anything? Hmm, that's weird. Probably because I'm redirecting. No, I'm not. I'm not redirecting the input of this. Oh, come on. Given that binary exists, return. Oh, yeah. Well, that was not very smart. So this is only when it downloads it again, which shouldn't matter. So that's fine. Oh yeah, okay. So if we have a binary already, we don't download it again. We just skip the download. We just use the existing binary. So I need to make an edge case or a case statement, which shouldn't be too rough. um, how do we do this? I mean, I guess I'll just do it here, right? So do this. Um, and then the binary, we just read it, right? Simplify.read bits app and binary exists. Mm. Then use bin result.try, and then I map the error. And then errors, download error. That's not great. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, yeah. And then we use this binary. And then if everything is okay, we return no. So that perfect. And then, yes. And then we need to panic because I stopped throwing downloading errors with SQLC because when I was working on the plane, I didn't want it to stop me from testing my stuff locally. So I'm just going to need to panic here instead of returning an error. Okay. Panic as SQLC binary hash did not match expected hash. Perfect. And then we actually don't need this error anymore because a panic is just gonna stop the world. And this doesn't need to be a result. I'm just gonna leave it as a result just because it indicates something possibly going wrong, but also not because it probably sets wrong expectations. So I think this is cool. And then this should just completely fail. Yeah. Perfection. And then we need to do the same when we're here. Bin hash. And then if I remove test integration SQLite build.parrot SQL, we're just going to trigger a download. It's, yeah, perfect. And then when I fix the hash and make it actually the correct one, hopefully, okay, did not match. Oh, because it's base 64 encoded? Oh, base 16 encoded? Huh. What is the hash string returned by this? Let's just return both. Expected hash. Because it's a case situation. Case situation. So the hash was uppercase, so I'm just gonna uppercase these. And that should work. Dang. Okay. Cool. Done. Sounds good. Hmm. So here's the thing. If you have a locally installed SQLC binary, what if you're not on the right version, right? I guess we don't care. We should throw an error anyways. I haven't come across anyone where it doesn't work for them, like the local version anyways. Hmm. Tricky. Tricky. But I mean, this is better than nothing, right? I think so. Okay. Um, deleted. Oh yeah, so let's just run the whole integration suite just to, you know, have everything compute. And verify hash of downloaded SQLC binary. Okay. So where would we check the integrity of the not of the locally installed SQLC binary? Hmm. I suppose that would be here. Okay, but here's the problem. We now need to find out where the SQLC binary is exactly, as in where is um where is SQLC homebrew. So we need we need to check that hash. Actually, what does that even match in my case? Where's the okay. So there's SQLC. I don't think that matches. Dang it. Hmm. Okay. TBD. Okay. Let's just do this some other time. Hash of user install SQLC binary. Cool. And now we are done. SQLC binary. And I've run the integration tests and it all works. And we delete the branch, check out main, remote prune origin, branch delete. Oh. And up version 123. Beautiful. Changelog. And then we'll this issue closes this. We now check the hash integrity of the downloaded binary. Thank you. What's Haley's username? Haley. Just dang it. Haley. How's this so difficult? There we go. Thank you, Haley, for calling me out. Haley. Oh, I mean, this. Okay. The thing. Publish. Cool. I try to mute myself while eating. All right. We are cooking. We're cooking. Yeah, I mean, that was all I wanted to do for Parrot today. Oh, no, tinyint. Yeah, let's just squeeze that in there. Ah, dang it. I should have merged both of them. Hey, but at least a lot of pushing always gets you to the top of the packages. So people see your package when they look for new developments. Which I think, I don't know if I like that this is the default view of Gleam packages. I mean, there are like ups and downs and everything. Alphabetically wouldn't be great because then you just have like people putting 2 or 3 A's in their name. But whatever. Okay. Actually, we should check if this isn't actually automatically handled by MySQL and or SQLC. So we're just gonna create in the schema admin tinyint1. So no, let's just see what it generates. Seed. Oh well, yeah. We'll just do, I don't know, default one, and then users.sql, select star. So we can just do test MySQL. Oh, this is gonna, yes, error because we need to update the expected schema. But so this is okay. It is an it. Dang. Okay, that's unfortunate. I thought it might just handle it for us, but that's fine. That's fine. Why is this one? Oh, because this is the admin. Okay. Fine. I guess we'll, address it. The good old work issue workflow, and then Again, I'm being optimistic, but I feel like this is just one line in the case statement. And then we'll have to see if the decoding works properly, or if we have to do an edge case for the decoder as well. Like if it decodes 0 and 1 to a bool, or if we have to overwrite or provide a custom decoder. Okay, let's see. So this should be encode gen, as the name suggests. And we just have like a big old case statement for some of the decoders, some of the gleam types, and then we have this mapping for the SQL types, right? And here we have tinyint, which maps to gleam-llm. So in theory, we should just have to be like, okay, tinyint 1 is, gleam bool. Although, let's just echo SQL type and just see what pops up. Okay, tinyint, we don't get information about the size. So for that, we're gonna have to look in the generated SQL schema. Nope. So tinyint. Oh dang, that's bad. Because we just get tinyint. Maybe length? Is length like suggestive of the size of the, you know, um, type? Well, we'll try it out. What does tinyint 1 actually mean? Does it mean 1 bit or like, or what does it say? Or the range? Oh, it's probably the bits. So we just need to make an edge case for tinyint and length 1. Because if I do like 4, for whatever reason, then it's gonna be 4. Tinyint or length. Okay, that's confusing, but okay. So it really is the 1 that makes the difference. Interesting. Interesting. And then this goes back to 1. Yeah. Huh. Okay. Okay. Then it shall be handled. So length. So is it, yeah, just length. So yeah, we'll just make a edge case, you know. This is gonna suck. I guess this is so specific that we'll just use a Boolean guard. And if they're like more edge cases we should handle, we'll integrate it into the case statement. But for the time being, I don't see a reason polluting the other branches with this, if it only concerns 1 at this very moment. So yeah, tiny bool. Let's just do that. String string dot lower case SQL type. Let's just do that. So we have it available already, and then it's tinyint and call.length is exactly 1. And then we'll do use bool.guard tiny bool. Well, okay, does this run a callback if the given bool is false? Oh, yeah, otherwise return. Okay, this is correct. And then we do clean bool. Or so I thought. uh, okay. Or does it? But oh, this returns it direct. Oh, because lazy makes it a function. Okay, let's see. So this should, yeah, type mismatch because it's a bool now. Okay, cool. And then get by username admin bool, and then that should be true. And it's nope. See, that's the thing. The decoder is not set up how we want it to be, which is fine though, because we can just provide a custom Boolean encoder which attempts to decode 0 or 1 and then just runs the fallback Boolean decoder. So that shouldn't be an issue. Right. Okay. But let's just check if I haven't. Nope, that's fine. Right. Yeah, so if we just do it, write it by hand, and then we can put it into the, yeah, so bool should be bool, but actually decode one off or, and then int to bool, basically, right? Int to bool is decode, oh God. I hate decoders. uh, int, right? Integer, this thing. Wait, I'm brain farting. Okay. Def gleam. I'm quite. Oh, it's a decoder map. Okay. 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 Is it just this? Is it just this? I am struggling, y'all. Dang it. Uh, use number. How do we? What? But I don't have a field. I don't get how I do that. code.map v case v 0 decode.success true decode.failure. What's the failure? False, could not decode int to Boolean. Oh, no. But why not? Oh, because I have to call it. Or not. Huh. Okay, think we're almost there. Oh, I don't quite understand this. Oh, wait a minute. False, true. But then how do I make it? Do I have to make it panic? Doubtful. And map. Then hey, it was just a then. Man, I mean, I don't feel like the result and type use syntax. It doesn't feel like magic to me anymore. It took a while. But decoder stuff, like once you have to get not use the default stuff, it yeah, gets me. But that's just, you know, experience and everything. Oh, fuck. Okay. 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 That wasn't smart. So I reset the whole, I run the code generation in the test, so I have to run it manually. Okay. Integration, MySQL, bring, just run. Okay, that works. So otherwise, we still would have gotten the error. So this is so nothing is a good sign. That's what I'm trying to say. So if we just have Boolean, it's gonna. Oh shoot! Okay, whew. Almost messed it up. Um, copy, paste. So as I was saying, this doesn't work. This works. I'm just trying to prove that what I did works. Okay, thank you. So now we're just gonna do thank you very much and have a bool decoder and do this. Oops. And do this. Decode one of decode.bool or bool int to bool. Int to bool. Thank you. And then this public. And yeah. all we need to do now is go into the code gen and dev dot bool decode dot bool, but rather dev dot bool decoder. Bool decoder. And now, if we generate the code again, bada bam, bada boom. It all works. Git add, git push commit. Infer tinyint to Boolean. That took, I'm not gonna lie, that took more time than I thought it would. But we made it. Okay. For tinyint to bool. And fearless merge. As usual. Check out main, get pull, get branch, get remote prune origin. And last but not least, getting changelog. Quite the day. 3 releases. Yeah, I shouldn't have done 3 separate releases. I do realize that. Issue number 6. Infer tiny and to volume. This is actually explicitly mentioned in the docs, which is why I'm doing this in the first place. Right. What was it? Let's go tiny and one. Where was this? Okay, it's fine. Yes. Here. Okay. Now just need to publish and done. All right. So this is all I wanted to do for Parrot today. Oh, I need to delete this branch real quick. Yeah. Git remote prune origin. And voila. Et voila. Okay. Now, I think, yeah, we'll still do some work on Wayfinder. I'm gonna get a decaf coffee, and yeah, I'll be right back. I'm back. And I've brought iced coffee. Very fancy. Okay. Oh, and my Whoop has finished charging, so yeah. Just gonna put that on real quick, track my vitals. Okay. Oh, and I need to charge my laptop. Sorry, y'all. I swear I'm a professional. Okay. Now we're good. Okay. Moving on. Moving on. Wayfinder. I mean, this is oh, sort of small change. This is basically doing everything from scratch. I mean, I don't think we'll. I mean, we will reuse a lot of the matching logic, as in how do you match a path to the controller and how do you translate a controller path to a string, that back and forth. Um, but yeah, so the main hmm, not issue, but unanswered question. Well, let's set this. So the main change we'll make is we'll introduce a config file. Now, currently it's all being done with no code generation, right? Which means it is not technically type safe, so it's a bit of a white lie. But as long as you run the validate function, it basically is type safe. Like all the code that runs after the validate function and the validate function succeeds can be considered type safe. And just to give you an example of what this package looks like at the moment, you define routes and you have 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. for the amount of arguments you pass. So you can have no arguments, there's just a static path, and then you can have arguments with the $sign syntax. You can use brackets, you can use the colon, but I have to set it to make use $signs. You can pass a search parameter decoder. So either you have just like a default search parameters, which is just a tuple of list of string tuples, or you can define your own like complex filter table search query logic. But the nice thing is that once you get this and you can just work with those parameters in a basically type-safe manner, right? And then if you want to link to other pages, you can also just make or generate the link, the string from the route, which is nice because then it inserts all of those parameters for you. It takes care of everything. Okay, so this is cool. This is nice. This is great. Mm, Personally, I've just not used it that much. Maybe because the size of the projects haven't allowed for it in a meaningful way, um, which might be a sign that this is actually not a good library or like not a good fit for something to invest time in if you don't have a need or like a proper reason to use it. I still want to give it a chance um, just to see what kind of DX we can get because in my current project, I've been making much more complex applications than these like 40, 50 lines of code, but with like proper like HTMX and get and post controllers and these kind of things. And I'm wondering, like, this wouldn't actually work, first of all, this library, if I wanted to have controller like API routes, which are not um, HTML, right? They do some kind of logic. Well, I suppose you could make them work, but like right here, I don't have a way to control the response of the route, right? Like this is always going to be a whatever I put in the handler here, wayfinder dot segments to handler, and you pass it out of the routes, and then it gives you the controller to call. Um, okay, well, now that I talk about it, you could make it work since routes is generic, and you could just make it generic over a WIST response, which would mean you just don't do this here, but just in the controller or in the route itself, and then you could return any response you wanted to. This is difficult. Hmm. I'm just trying to find reasons why this current way is bad, you know? But now that I'm like talking about it and having a look about it, it actually isn't that bad. Like the only bad thing is the fact that you have to keep a list of your routes and you need to call the validate function. But really, once you have this at the top of your main function, all you need to do is take care of your routes, which, depending on the project, let's be honest, it's not going to happen that often that you change up all of your routes. So, yeah, this is a question, right? Is it worth it to migrate everything to use code generation just so when you do like um, populate all of this, you get an automatic routes detection? I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. Okay, fine. Then, yeah, I don't think I have a good Like I haven't really made up my mind right now, and I don't think this package is honestly even being used because people just find the raw string segment matching like fine. And personally, I haven't run into any major issues when doing this. Like there wasn't like a major bug where it was like, dang, I didn't handle this routing case correctly. But then again, I haven't had large enough projects to verify my experience. Okay, all in all, I'm just gonna put this off for right now. I guess this would be a nice thing to just discuss in your community, make a sharing post or something. That's probably what I'm gonna do afterwards. But fear not, there was plenty to do. Looking at my packages, there's still plenty of packages to work on. Now, um, I think for like streaming purposes, gleam-llm would be the funnest to work on, just because it's keeps getting talked about and the channel and um people asked for like MCP server or not, yeah, MCP servers for Hex packages and what about AI assisted tooling and this kind of stuff. And I've actually, I've I know from myself and from work that I use a lot of GPT, but since we use just TypeScript all over the place, it's always able to handle it fine. But then I run into issues with using more modern or like more updated APIs or like Bun.js, where it just doesn't know crap about anything because it's like 6 months old. And that's only going to get worse with Gleam. Um, once even more packages are being published, new versions are being released of like packages, not Gleam itself. Gleam itself, shouldn't really change that much, at least syntax wise, which is great. So yeah, I feel like doing working on that, to be honest. So let's do that. I also want to have a fun emoji in here, just a nitpick. And I think the most obvious one is just a robot, right? Very not creative. Um, so let's just do that. Nope. Come on. Why does it? I swear this is how it works. You just double click. Ah, okay. Gleam LLM benchmark of LLMs producing correct Gleam code off in, not a native. Better. Dang it. Oh, let me GPT this. Is it benchmark something in something or benchmark something off something doing something? I guess both is correct. Okay, it doesn't matter. Benchmark of LLMs on on. That's the one I was missing. That's funny. And now we have a cute little emoji. Hex stocks. Okay, one more. One more. Um, I think this one is just going to be the web symbol. The you know. No, the globe one, this one. Offline access to all of your Gleam dependencies. Now that's a sales pitch. Bam, 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 bam. This one is an old project. Um, you should check it out. It's actually pretty fun. It's like, yeah, did this like 3 years ago in Solid.js. It's just logic game, got a solid app. I guess no one has used that name before. Um, and it's kind of like a turtle game, right? Where you just put steps in, um, and then it just does. So here it just has to go forward and then call itself again. So you can have functions and that stuff. I haven't done this in like years, literally. It actually works really well on your phone. I optimized it for mobile. At least last time I used it. Yeah, it's pretty fun. You can check it out. Okay. Anyways, anyways, gleam-llm. Um, so I've worked on this a bit, but more on the so there's no global or widely used Gleam AI SDK library as far as I know, or one that is maintained. So I've just kind of done that myself and wrapped some of the more popular providers in here, namely Claude, Anthropic, OpenAI, and Gemini. And yeah, I think I've got them all working, which is cool. But let me just gleam-llm. Also open this in the editor. And see what's up. Evaluator, reports, docs. So I've got a bunch of notes. This is like half written evaluator, and then here we have the LLM providers. I'm actually kind of proud of this code. It's actually pretty smooth because you just have the different providers, and then you have different body JSON objects. They're all slightly different. We authenticate the request. We get the base URL for each provider, and then we have some decoding magic because some of them, yeah, return it oddly, namely Gemini. Thank you. They have like really nested fields, and it was a pain to decode. But okay, okay. Note to self: do not open the env file. Note to self, because that's gonna leak my API keys. Okay. Now that was, yeah, pretty much the most recent work on this, just because this is required to get anything going, right? If we want to do everything in Gleam, if I've just decided like a normal person to use TypeScript or Go or whatever, we I wouldn't have had to write my own wrappers. It's fine. I've done it. And yeah, so what I've also done, actually, now that I'm getting into the project again, I noticed that I've done a bit more. I wrote evaluator utility test. So basically, what we want to do is we want to prompt a LLM, right, Gemini, OpenAI, whatever, to write a Gleam program of some kind, right? So we want to say write a hello world, and then we want to get more complex. So we want to say write as a matrix multiplication function, write some exercise challenge, add enough code, just pick something which is going to require some thinking and some more complex structures, which is going to kind of um, what's the word? Which is going to expose some common misconceptions about Gleam that LLMs might have. For example, every LLM that I've talked to about Gleam, without any additional context, it always thinks Gleam has if statements, right? Or it writes some Rustian code, but like the anonymous function syntax. It is the wildest things. Just because Gleam isn't that known yet, and there's not much um, documentation in their training set or like code on GitHub that they use and steal and whatever they do. Or as soon as some API changes, right? Like Wisp had a recent change in just like a function call, how you start the server. Bam, instant, like, not that it's a big deal to change one function, but if you, right, you want LLMs to write pretty like correct code from the get-go as much as possible. So yeah, we want to have an LLM, which I've written the repurpose for, generate a just one file, Gleam, the main.gleam, whatever, app.gleam, that we just put into a file. We generate a new Gleam project, we run it. We always give it the dependencies beforehand. So once we have to get into web server land or some, I don't know, Gleam crypto, we're just going to give it like the project pre-configured. That's fine. That's not that would be like expecting too much in the beginning, and also would require some kind of agentic workflow. But we want to stay like input output, right? Like problem Gleam code. And then we put that Gleam code into a new project, just a temp directory. We run it, and then it's either gonna run or fail. And once we get, so my guess, honestly, is that once you get like more complex than Hello World, it's just gonna fail every time. The first time. The first time. But like no additional context, no Gleam tool given to it, it's just gonna, yeah, say, I don't know. So yeah, that's my pessimistic expectation. Now the good thing is that I know from experience that once you just give it like this much context about Gleam, just some common misconceptions, no if statements, how does use work, it generally like gets correct Gleam code on the page. But then once you get into even like more complex stuff again, OTP, web server, it's probably gonna struggle a bit. But let's just, less talking, more coding. Um, so I've written some tests for scaffolding. So basically what you can do is you can just write, hey, give me a temp directory. This is my case. I want to defer the cleanup. So RFing the temp directory. We're scaffolding it, which is just going to run gleam new in the temp directory, calling it app, I think. Yeah, just app. And then we give it the main module. It's just going to write it to the app.gleam file, and then we run it. And we check it for type consistency, and then you can also build it and run it. And then we have a no print progress to know if everything so that we don't pollute the SCD out with the build information or some compiling information, because we might want to check just the singular output to check correctness of the program. Okay. Where do we continue? So I've got all of these tests. We've got the LLM providers. I think we can pretty much start figuring out how we want to implement these cases and how we want to track the correctness and just build up like a testing pipeline, right? We don't want to like run something, hack it together, somehow get the output, and then somehow like we want to have this pipeline where everything we get like a nice table at the very end, maybe a markdown table where we can see this case for this model, didn't compile, and this was correct, or compiled but didn't yield the correct output or something. So there are a plethora of things to test, variables to consider, and yeah, we'll just go about this like I'm just treating it like a bachelor project or your thesis. 1 second, I need a coaster for my coffee. They're quiet. Okay. Mm. So this is the evaluator. The question is, do I want to pollute the evaluator with any specific cases? Actually, yes, I do. Because it's just all going to be the main file, right? Um, so just quite literally going to copy paste some code, and we'll just say case 1. Start simple. We can find a good name later. Case. Oh, this is still on the old should. I say old, right? On the old should API. Scandalous, you might say. Um, wait, what happened? It's weird. So yeah, we should do like fix that first. So I'm just gonna install my trusty Quire, which I can recommend. I think it's Quire Dev. Oh yeah, I need to be in the evaluator. Quire, because Quire is amazing because it gives you all of the outdated packages. Which there are quite a few. So we can do Gleam or update Gleam crypto. So if you want to update a major version, like with HTTPC, you have to run Gleam add again, because updating doesn't update the major version, I think, right? So HTTPC didn't actually do anything. Yeah, but add Gleam HTTPC is gonna maybe I'm wrong. Well, it looks like I'm wrong. Huh. Gleam add Gleam HTTPC at 5? Oh, okay. Oh, well. Okay. Huh. I guess we'll do 5.0 here manually. I think I might have gotten this wrong. Okay, I'll just update it fast. Gleam update, gleam. Well, you can just run gleam update to update all of them. And then, but it should still give me HTTPC outdated. Yes. How do I update it? Okay, I'm just gonna remove it and add it again. I don't know. Is it removed? Yes. I don't, what in the, wait, is this? Oh, I might have found an edge case with my library because 5, no, it's on 5. Why can't I install it? I guess the default version from Hex isn't on 5 yet. Oh, so Quia, my package, is actually not using HTTPC 5 yet. Oh, that's funny. Okay, then we'll just do a very small detour. Okay, we're just gonna go into Quia, run Quia in itself, which is kind of fun, and then we'll upgrade HTTPC. Okay, that's always fun. Gleam update, Gleam add, Gleam HTTPC at 5. And it worked. Okay. Yeah, that wasn't. Um, Dang it. Okay, I'm still on another branch, so I actually need to go in main and run this again. Gleam update, Gleam add HTTPC, Gleam HTTPC at 5. Okay, that worked. Whew. And then it still runs. Perfect. Mm, what did actually change? Oh, okay, great. Um, so we'll just let me just get the Quia project up, and then up the version. What was I on? 7. Change log. Bumped theme HTTPC TV5 716. Mm, okay. What? Okay, I think that is a typo. Yeah. Mm. Now we need to go in, update Quia, and now it went. Okay, and then if I run Quia, that's the nicest thing you can see. Green, green. Okay, okay. Let's add gleam manifest. Date dependencies. Now we can actually work on what we want to work on. So we were just going to do assert. Okay. on these because we're not in testing land anymore. Actually, god dang it. My mouse is very broken regarding like scrolling. Like when I scroll up, of course it works now. Yeah, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Um, mm, Also, yeah, let's just convert the tests, like assert. It's going to be a quick one. Just assert equals test, just so we don't use the should here. Assert result is okay, and then assert result is okay. Assert result is okay. I know someone wrote a module or like an automated um, you know, converter, but I think I'd be spending more time setting it up or searching for the name than I would just do this real quick. He says as he's wasting time. You can't have it all. So, that is okay. That's actually more than I thought. I'm sorry. But only these three to go. Such that is okay. All right. And let's run it. Gleam, or just run, just because that loads the environment variables. Just test. Slash should work. Yes. And we have a temp directory, which I'm echoing. And then git, which that is git test, git commit. Should assert. Back to the meat. So this should definitely be a utility function, which I think is just going to go into case, right? And scaffolds, temp directory. This is all nice. Oh, let's create the utility function here. Run case, right? So what is a case? What does it consist of? Well, sorry, I have a case here, but all it does is take in a um di working directory. Just kind of lame. Like ideally, it would take in the prompt, the directory, the dependencies, but it does not. So we should either expand the case or, you know, um, rename it. gonna call it project because case is just not accurate, you know. And also case is annoying because you have to do case underscore because case is a reserved keyword. So yeah, it only has downsides, as we can see. Okay, project. Yeah, that shouldn't change anything except everything. Oh no. Yeah, yeah. Dang it. Ah, okay. Project, project. See, I literally had to call it the case because you can't write case. That's fine. That's actually, let's see what AI can do. I want all of the case references, like variable, to match the type name of project. Cool. AI can actually do stuff. That's crazy, y'all. And 0 errors. Okay. Git add subs emulator case. Yes, okay, I have an idea. So we're gonna rename this project. And then we don't really have to change anything here. And then this is gonna be project. And then, okay, we do need to change the imports. And then the same goes for here. And yeah. Just test. And that's it. Get everything name case project. Okay. Didn't see that one. Always a danger when you're like mass renaming stuff. Let's get back to our issue. So, because yeah, we want to have a type case with a PWD, a like a prompt for the LLM, and prompt or like a task prompt task description. Description. And then we're going to take each case, run it against each LLM, or what generate a project with the contents of the LLM's code, and then evaluate project program correctness. Dependencies, steps. That's pretty much it. And then we'll do evaluate case. I guess we need to make everything public because eventually it's going to run in a public main function and you can only call use public functions and stuff in there. No, that's not true. But you can only use public types as an argument, which makes sense now that I think about it. Because you could call this function from outside, but you couldn't pass an argument because you don't have access to the case. Okay, that makes sense. But we don't need these to be public. And then, yes, we need to evaluate a case against an a LLM, right? Right. Which is gonna get clean code from LLM given the case's description. How did I word this? These are the yeah, I just called it case contents, right? It's like a case contents. Yeah, I'm not too happy about that. That's fine for now. Scaffold the case as a Gleam project. Like run and build, right? Check and build and run. So that's the only way we know if it's correct. Okay. Now I just had a thought of, okay, what if Gleam or what if LLMs can generate the correct syntax pretty easily, but then if we let it generate something more complex, like an advent of code challenge or an existence challenge, Gleam isn't actually the bottleneck, and it couldn't have done it in any other language like TypeScript, Go, Python. And that's actually not the issue, so to say. That's something to think about. But I guess then we also have to correctly identify the scope of this project in the sense of, obviously we want to keep complexity fairly minimal, and we don't expect it to solve any like major. We don't want it to implement Kubernetes or anything crazy. We just wanted to produce correct Lean code and kind of know how to use the, generics and generics. Something with generics and more complex type APIs. Okay. Noted that one down. But like FFI, some Wisp, some Luster, some crypto, some hashing auth, a little auth library that works with hashes, right? That'd be fun. And yeah. So yeah, we wanted to know like the standard library, the common functionality. Like the amount of time I've wasted with Claude arguing about some Gleam function and having to tell it explicitly like this standard library function does not exist on string. Like it imagines all of these things that are not there. But that's fine. Okay. Um, that was my ramble. Back to writing code, and just to ramble even more. That's what I love writing in Gleam. You can just construct these like pipelines, like almost one to one. Like it feels more like building with Legos than with like I don't even know what the other like analogy would be, right? Just like something not as nice as Legos. um, yeah, it just feels very put together. I just wanted to emphasize that. Okay. Mm, so we want to evaluate the case. So ultimately, we want this code, right? Not directly, but eventually. And then also when we're evaluating, we want a result, right? Mm, evaluate error. So obviously there can be unexpected errors that are not the LLM's fault. We can mess up the dependencies. We can mess up the scaffolding. So I think missing dependency or actually this project isn't, it's not a library, right? We don't need to break down every single error we come across. We can just make it a string error and just write out the error at hand in the moment. Um, so yeah, sorry, I have to answer one quick text. And then in the positive case that it succeeds or not, um, in the sense of it doesn't succeed, build like the type checking doesn't succeed, is still a not an error because we just want to evaluate it, right? Um, evaluation, evaluation. So this could be, so we have a couple of outcomes. It can fail the type check. So that would be compile error, right? It didn't compile. Building error can't really happen if we checked it before because building it does check the code as well, but it's gonna build just fine if it compiles. And then we have to check if it runs, right? So, but then if it compiles, it runs, right? Um, so the question is, does each case have a deterministic output in the sense of, you're right, if I wanted to print hello world, I can check deterministically is the string hello world. But if I wanted to implement something more complex, like a web server or whatever, um, that might be tricky. So we should have a validation function, right? validator given a, which each case is now going to be generic, is going to return a Boolean. Because some cases, see, all of the cases are going to return a string because that's the standard out of any Gleam program. Okay, yeah, okay. In that case, we don't actually need this standard out. So it's just going to be a string. And the validator is just going to validate the string output. And for any other validation, like does this API serve on localhost 3000, we'll just have to write some custom logic. Okay, fun. Yeah, this feels unnecessary. It's just a string. Compile error and then validated full, like the result, I assume. Or do we make it validated and not successfully validated? I think it's fine like this. Yeah, that was pretty much it. All right. Okay, we need to handle this type mismatch. Almost spilled my coffee. And then, okay, we need to set a little goal here because I can't really do more than 20 more minutes because it's getting late. I gotta get up, not early tomorrow, but I don't want to go to bed at like 1 a.m. I know, very not developer of me. What should we, because I can have as all of these functions like right now. But the question is, what's like a good, I think it's good if we just finish the scaffolding part, get this to do out of the way, and then we can tackle the other to dos just like bit by bit, right? Okay, so this is still freaking love these code actions. So good. There's not a single other language I code in where I use that code actions, if they even have any. And I don't know if that's just because I'm not used to them, just or maybe the developer workflow is different, or if they're just not available. Like I generally don't know. Actually, I do know. Okay, well, auto importing, I think everyone uses in any language. Um, actually, now that yeah, I think I've tried or explored just like expand. You're like on a random line and you just expand the code actions available, and there are pretty much none. Just odd. So yeah. Hello, Schmill. I am working on the gleam-llm project. So right now we are uh, writing an evaluation Gleam program where given a case description, a case being a little program, such as a simple hello world, a matrix multiplication, we prompt an LLM to write the Gleam code, and then we evaluate it by scaffolding a Gleam project, running the code, and either having like a success or not successful to collect some data on how well Gleam's LLMs are able to write Gleam programs. So that's the elevator pitch. But yeah, if you want to learn more, you can read this whole thing I wrote up. So yeah, and we're basically just working on the Gleam code to actually run the LLM generated code automatically and give us a evaluation, which is either going to result in a compile error or a validation status, depending on which case we're running. Yes. So all of this said, um, I want to get the scaffolding working, which we won't know if it works 100% because we won't be able to run it because of the other to-dos. But since I've already written the tests for the scaffolding, installing the dependency, so I mean, you can literally just run, right? There's like project or scaffold, add the main module, even install dependencies, um, install argv, and just do this all in Gleam, right? This is pretty cool. So the question is, given the case, so we'll just pretend this is implemented. I mean, that's what to-dos are for, ultimately. Given we have the project, the main module code. So yeah, first we'll temp to pwd it. This is not the correct name. This is called project now. Case project. There you go. Case project. We defer the cleanup, which is the correct course of action, I think. Yes. Yes, it is. Which I honestly, wait, but does defer take in? Oh my God. Yeah, that was a mistake. Jesus. Can't believe I missed that. You get, oh wow. I did not think I would mess up the defer implementation. Okay, interesting. Because you lose the body result value once, what if you do that and you don't store it and return it at the end. Ooh, ouch. Yeah, okay. This would have caught it, being explicit about the result return value. Dang. Right, that's fine. This is fine. This is fine. Okay, so we defer the cleanup, and now we scaffold the project. We install the dependencies. So this is the first one where we can go list dot each case dot dependencies function dependency, and then we just install the dependency. Next up, oh, this is going to be case project. Check build run. Well, actually, we can actually do that since yeah. So we can say let checked or compiles is case clean check, okay, true, otherwise false. And we could be explicit about the error state. That's pretty cool. And then we can return, and then if it doesn't, given, oh, we haven't installed given. That's a no-go. Given that not compiles, we return valid compile error. Or rather, okay, compile error. And then if it builds and it runs and it's validated, we can do this. Let's runtime equals case this, okay, output this to the out, to do error, okay, validated false. We'll just have to assume it builds because it compiles, which now that I say it out loud just means we can skip compilation, because if it doesn't build, it doesn't compile, and the other way around. Yes, I think so. And then we just do case run, and if we get a std out, case dot validator valid, and then yeah, we just return okay valid data. Right? Oh, sorry. We do this. Valid std out, okay, validated, valid. And then last but not least, we give it the program which is to be done. That program string is to do, which we'll get from the LLM. Okay, now, actually, yeah, I mean, we can test this, right? We can just make a clean program and then we'll just, yeah, that's going to be a string. Function main. I don't actually know if we'll get the hello world if we echo in std out, or if that's std error or something. But we can just case one, just eval echo evaluate case. Case is case labels. Oh, see, we don't need the PWD because this is generated in the evaluation. So we don't need this. Contents. We don't need this, right? We're not using it right now. And then dependencies, we don't need any for just an echo. And then this just going to return true. Or, well, yeah, true. Case, and we could do whatever LLM because we're not actually testing it. And that's it. Big fun. function case. I need to make all of these public because they're like using public something. And then if I do gleam run, yeah, validated true. And std out, echo std out, true. Yeah, we get blah 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 header world. So this is like the this is basically this. So we're echoing another echo, which is why it looks so weird. Usually what you want to do is just import gleam-llm and then io.println. But I just always use echo. And then you would actually get hello world. And then as the evaluation, we would just do string dot lowercase std out dot std out string dot lowercase string dot trim equals hello world. And then that's going to be the actual first very simple case. And then for this one, we would need to do it manually, and that's going to return true. And then if we take this away, that's going to return false. So we'll just need to be very specific when we're working with the LLM. Right. Okay. Yeah, sweet. And then also one more thing, just one more thing. Models, we'll need to do this for all of the models. So let's just create a little all models GPT for all, and then literally just copy paste. And then we'll use this later to evaluate all of the models with all of the cases. And then we'll have a nice matrix, a nice table, and then we'll like use green and red colors maybe, or do some kind of visualization, Luster, HTML. Actually, yeah, we could generate HTML reports. But yeah, I think that's for the next stream. So thanks everyone for watching. And yeah, well, before I do the outro, let me actually check how I end the stream so that I don't stay around for another minute when I've said my goodbyes. Okay, I think I've got it. So see y'all next time. And thanks for